I am, of course, going to talk about Manifest, but really the crux of this video is streaming services are a bit wonky at times with rights. So, Manifest was originally created, and NBC went, yeah, that's fine, we'll offer you another season. That went well, let's do another one. And that was cancelled. Unfortunately, season 3 is not a satisfying end. It doesn't properly conclude. So, Netflix had it was added there, and was doing pretty well. So they were like, do you know what? If you want to finish this out, this full season, we'll give you one season to close it out. Give you the ending that you were intending. And that's great. Netflix had the rights to that last season fully because they funded it. I don't know if it was on a different service. It's certainly one we didn't have. In this country, when my partner and I went to watch it, we only had season 1 and 4 originally. Funny sidebar, someone Amy works with actually didn't realise, watched season 1, rolled straight into season 4. Having seen Manifest, that would be very confusing, and they were confused. Until my partner pointed out, oh no, you've got to wait because there's 2 seasons missing. At which point the response was, that makes a lot of sense. But that's the problem. We wanted to watch it, but we didn't want to have to wait around. Like, watch season 1, wait until season 2's greenlit, and then wait even longer for season 3. So we saw a notification, it was either like a week or so, something like that, away from release, and we went, we'll start it. We're probably not going to be, finish season 2 by the time it comes, so we could watch it all in one run. But I don't like this. When different streaming services have maybe funded part of a show, especially if it's come from normal TV first. So in this case, like NBC have done 3 seasons and Netflix have done 1. Technically, Netflix don't have full rights over those 3. That's understandable. Yes, that makes perfect sense. But what about the consumer? What about the viewer? It's not great. But I will say, now that I'm going to start talking about the show, it was worth the wait. It's not perfect at all. Absolutely not. There's a few moments I shook my head and scratched my head and just basically kind of went, what is going on? I don't get it. I don't understand why this is the case, but the general journey, the overallness of it wasn't awful, and in fact was quite enjoyable. So the basic overview is a bunch of travellers from Jamaica to New York City, planes overbooked, some moved to a later flight, obviously some were already on that later flight. And this flight 828 with 191 souls on board disappears for 5.5 years. When it comes back, it's basically as though it literally just did the journey. No one has aged. So one of the characters, Cal, is half of a twin, Set, and his sister is now 5.5 years older than him, which is quite funny, until the end of season 3 and into season 4, where Jack Messina as Cal was replaced with Ty Duran as Cal, but now that 5 years older version. I don't know the reason, maybe to give Jack more time for schoolwork or something like that, make it less weird with Luna Blaze as Olive to play against someone who's meant to be her twin but 5 years younger. Whatever the reason, it's fine. They did it. No one else had that happen. We'll hand wave it away. It's supernatural. But yeah, it's one of those that if you're willing to go along with the weird stuff, you will get enough out of it. But the issue comes in the fact that apparently they should have died. The plane should have exploded in the air. But once they land, they all start to get these things called callings, which are sort of premonitions, sort of visions of people they need to help. Very cryptic, so they've got to work to solve them. But if they don't solve them, they will die. And if, as it pans out later, if they don't all solve them, if one person decides they're not going to pay attention, they will all be penalised for it. I'm sure there's something in the Geneva Convention punishing everyone for one person's actions. But still, this is supernatural, it's above man's laws, I guess you could say. Fine. But it is one of those wrinkles, and it gives some of that narrative tension. Because there are some who are like, I don't feel the need to, why should I do all this? And it's like, because we will all die. And later on we find out that the death day, which is this 5.5 years they've been gone, is the time window they've got to solve all the callings, or they will all die. As they learn later, no, it's we will all die. The whole world is now resting on them having done their callings. 191 people billions. Those are the stakes. And like I say, if you analyse it too much, that is ridiculous. But again, it gives that narrative and thematic and everything like that tension. But even with me saying it sounds really silly when you really break it down, I still enjoyed the journey. The fact that the ending has them resolving it as best as they can. Some do die. And the awful bit is, you will die in the way that you were meant to die. So a lot of them probably would have burned up on the plane, so we start to see this burning effect take some of them and they turn to ash. Quite horrific, actually, for something like this. But it was that thing, and then they go through this glowing thing through the plane door. And they're in New York in 2013. So instead of, them surviving to a new world or whatever it may be, they were gifted, effectively, their life back. That's why I think it still works. It nails that ending. The passengers who didn't complete their callings are back, but they don't know about any of what's gone on. The others have the experience of that 5 years. Also, though, Cal as well does sacrifice himself, and that makes him exempt from the memory. So young Cal doesn't have the memory either, which is, I think, is kind. But they all have the memory so they can do the best thing with their life. And, make sacrifices where they have to, allow other people to have better lives because they've understood that they're not right for them. It's that thing that we all want in some ways. This whole idea of, if I knew then what I know now, what would I do differently? But unlike with us, where we can't go back and change it, they do have that opportunity. It's why I say that it generally nails it. It's hopeful. It's got problems, because every streaming thing has. Not every episode in, even a 4-season running show is going to be gold. But there's enough here that kept me wanting to watch week on week. And I know I spoiled the ending, but really I think as much as anything, it is the journey that you go on. So please, watch it, let me know what you think. Also, do let me know of any other situations like I experienced with this, where you had like 1 or 2 seasons of a show that aren't even necessarily like consecutive, and you had to wait for it, because I know that streaming rights and things like that are a problem. Hopefully over time we'll get better. Not that I'm going to, call to arms and take a bunch of this stuff to petitions, because I don't even know where to start. But I think it'd be fun to share some of those stories of having to wait. Or if you were the person that Amy worked with who didn't realise, let me know those stories as well. But until next time, as always, thank you for watching and take care.